Hello everybody, welcome to Hollywood Bets Kenilworth on this Saturday. Daryl, Marie and myself are doing the show Friday morning relatively early. We have heard that they were doing some testing of the track on the Friday afternoon. Horses will be galloped, something to that extent, and hopefully you're watching this and racing is continued for the Hollywood Bets meeting. So we're going to start with the second race on the card. It's obviously the feature races this afternoon, which we look forward to, the Iridescence and the Langerman. But starting with the Bipots is where we want to go. And it's 18 to 10 on Friday morning about number 6, Splash of Colour. Vaughan Marshall does appear to have some good runners on Saturday. 8, Got the Look is at 33 to 10. Number 7, Oncidium is trading at 4 to 1. 8 to 1 about 1, Love Her Madly. And this horse first time, a Greek Heiress, is priced up at 10 to 1. Hopefully, Daryl, no bipod carryovers, eh?
Sure.
How was that meeting? But you did warn everybody.
Yeah, but they dragged us through the reeds there.
How
we're
does
back
it look?
to fight another day.
Yeah, let's do that.
I've gone all of numbers 6, 7, and 8 over here, but if you want to narrow it down, I'd probably go 6 and 7. Now, Splash of Colour, nice improvement in her second start. She obviously appreciated the extra distance. Same course and distance. While fair enough drawn, Gavin will know more about her in a race this time around. So I'm taking her chances seriously here. In saying that, number 7 is held on paper on Oncidium. However, I think she can make a lot of improvement. She was given a chance from her draw last time. She came to the middle of the track, wasn't really punished, and I can see a lot of improvement from number 7. So she's the immediate danger. And then strictly on paper, number 8, Got the Look. You can see she was having her second start behind Una the Unicorn, and she actually just finished slightly ahead of Splash of Colour. So on paper there's nothing separating the two of them. In her last start up the straight, she did find interference, but when she got a gap she wasn't really making inroads. So she's my third pick, but on paper you can see there's nothing separating numbers 6 and 8. So yes, in order of preference, 6, 7 and 8.
Don't read too much then into being held up. Got the Look in its last stop, and let's see how it all works out in the first leg of the bipod. Third race. Interesting because there's a very well-bred first timer here, number 1, October Storm. But that's priced up already Friday morning at, at 8 to 10. Second choice, number 6, Ikoko. What's this horse called? Ikoko. What's it called? Iko, 33 to 10. Number 8 on the card, Thunder Down Under, is the third choice, who's priced up at 15 to 2, and 8 to 1 about number 4, Fleur de Wild. It's 10 to 1 and better about the balance. So now the question is, what do we know about this fella, the son of Vercingetorix? Beautifully bred out of that wonderful mare, that Varmare Miss October. Gavin's riding them. All the right guys are involved. Anything you know?
There are comments in the front of the book, Clyde. Number 1 shows good work at home, and number 5, Speedy Type may be green. I'd suggest to the viewers watch the betting closer to race time.
I see bookmakers never took a chance. They priced it up in the red.
Yeah, I mean, he's related
did this was open bigger, or did they just price it up like that?
I think they just priced him up like that. I mean, he's related to Grade 1 winners, Clyde. Grade 1 winning.
I know.
Tempting Fate.
Yeah.
Won the gold medallion. October Morn, who won the SA Philly Sprint. Really, if he's expected to go close on debut, I can see him winning. Obviously, I backed him up. Excuse me, Clyde. Excuse me. In the PA, I've got numbers 1 and 6. Now, Iko is obviously the form horse in the race. I've actually liked his last 2 starts. I think he improved last time out, because in his penultimate start, when he ran behind a moderate, well, I think that also was a 100 to 1 debut winner. I thought his effort in his later start is better than his penultimate start. So,
but that form hasn't worked. I'd say it hasn't really worked out too much. So
no, that's why I really can see a first timer winning if they have any sort of ability.
By the sounds of things, it's like October Storm, mate, Daryl.
Yeah, you know, that form line hasn't really worked out. But the horses that ran 4th and 5th both came out and ran 2nd in the next start. 3 Tigers ran extremely well post maiden in the Somerset listed 1200. Just behind Absolutely Yes. So it's not the worst form around, and he's obviously got the experience. So, yes, numbers 1, 5, and 6 to focus on over here. Yeah, not much
Okay.
more to say other than follow the market, follow the canter past.
All right, we've got them in the PA. So we're playing it safe. October Storm and Ico, as you heard from Daryl in the first leg. Okay, place accumulators are on. Now the fourth race is the pick 6. And it's a maiden, but remember it's a handicap maiden. It's an open maiden as they refer to it. And Betway on Friday morning had them priced up as follows. Number 2, Taylor's Version, is top of the boards at 2-1. 1, Meg's Legacy is 33-10. Number 5, Red Coral, is priced up at 7-2. And number 10, Red State, is at 6-1. So, question is about this favourite, whether it's good enough to win. It's had a few starts to date, just a handful of them, but a much better run over the 14 in the last start, Daryl, and staying over this sort of distance will help.
Yeah, I like Candice Bass Robinson's 2-2-year-old fillies over here, numbers 2 and 5. Clyde, you know, this filly, number 2, Taylor's Version, she caught my eye in the canter past in her penultimate start when she returned from a layoff at 100-1.
Yeah.
She ran into the placings. Then she was having her second run after a rest, her first run around the bend over 1400, and she acquitted herself extremely well. By now we'll know if that form line has been franked with splash of colour or Oncidium, who represent that form. Behind Take It As Read. So if they frank that form, I can see her winning. Yeah, I can see her winning despite the result of that race. Number 5, Red Coral. Good improvements in her second start. Had a look at her breeding. Her half-sister won over a mile and 1900. So I'm of the opinion she's going to love the extra 200 meters. She's also lightly raised 2-year-old. So I think carrying 56, they're really going to be the two to focus on. However, I didn't stop there in the opening leg of the pick 6 because it is an open maiden. I included number 1, Meg's Legacy, a lot in her favor, but that form line really hasn't stood up whatsoever. All 4-1 placed in their next start. And number 4, I'm looking for a lot of improvement from her. Number 4, Special Glamour. Take note, she needed her penultimate start. That form line's working out well. English Mistress won again. Beneath the Covers, I think, won twice from there. Then maybe too far last time out. Back in trip, tongue tie gets on.
Yeah.
Respiratory noises last time out. Really, she could be the sneaker in the pack, and I do believe she represents value in the region of 10-1. So in order of preference, 2, 5, 4, 1. If you want to go firmer in the first leg, 2 and 5 should suffice.
Okay, there's the look at the pick 6. No bankers today, or so whenever this meeting takes place. It's a 2,880 Rand per. Race 5. This is the perfectly placed. It's run over the C stakes. That is, it's a 1950 meter, and it runs at 22.2 in terms of Friday morning's carded times, subject to change. From a market perspective, Betway on the Friday morning have got number 4 ahead of the Facts as the favourite, and it is 7-2. 4-1 about the 10 Heliotrope. Number 3, Quite a King, is trading at 9-2. 5, Woodworld is at 6-1. And then they bet 8-1 and better about the balance. All right, Daryl, I saw in your pick 6 that you opened up. There are a few horses in here. Where do we begin?
I nearly banked over here, Clyde.
Okay, which one?
But I don't know the condition of the track. This horse
Well, it's going to be heavy, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, isn't it?
I don't know.
Well,
Plus,
they've sent horses out for gallops on the Friday after. Anyway, by now we're halfway through.
Plus, this horse is having his second run after rest, but I really like the look of him. Number 4, ahead of the Facts. He's a lovely staying type, improving sort. You need to watch his later start. They really ran that race at a pedestrian pace, and it doesn't suit him because he's more a staying type. And they quickened up, and he got there in time. I thought he was going to be caught flat-footed in the straight, but he got there in time. And I really think, despite 64 kgs, he could go back-to-back. He's a horse to really earmark in the future, because I don't think the staying ranks are that strong, and he's a young staying type. So if you want to go a braver route, you could possibly bank a number 4 ahead of the Facts. However, Clyde, have a look at the date he won on, the 1st of June. Have a look at number 2, Area Vistas. Also won on the 1st of June
Yes.
of the very same course and distance.
Yeah.
Area Vistas, listen to this, would have beaten ahead of the Facts by 3 lengths, and he carried 6 kilograms more.
Yeah.
So, strictly based on that, Area Vistas, whose stable I believe has come to form, cannot be ruled out. I know it wasn't a strong field whatsoever, but I think the pennies dropped for him. Then you have to have a look at number 6 over here, Repetition. Didn't beat the strongest of fields in the Eastern Cape, but he's now coming to form, and the way he finished his race off last time out was eye-catching. He's another one that has to go in. Then you have a look at the best weighted column, and you'll see Heliotrope comes up trumps, and you can't really ignore Quite a King. Like I said, Clyde, if you want to take the brave route, bank number 4 ahead of the Facts. But yeah, I'm a little bit wary second run after rest and over the 1950. So in order of preference, 4, 2, 6, 3 and 10.
Okay, so it's the safer option in our jackpots, as you can see, and we're spending 240. Okay, iridescence time. What does that mean? As well as the juvenile version, the fillies, that is, their opportunity in the Western Cape this time of the year. It's a listed race. Yeah, they've lightly raced, obviously, some of them, and we'll see what their future holds. I'll ask Daryl Marie, which one of these does he prefer, or which one's caught the eye to date so far? Well, Betway's market on Friday morning have got Ukaduma top of the boards at 22-10. That's number 6 on the card for Vaughan Marshall and Gavin Larena. The Snates come with a few, and they've got Richard riding Lowveld Lily number 7 at 26-10. 3 Electromagnetism, that's Candice Bass Robinson's runner, is the third choice in here at 3-1. And there's one other worth mentioning at 33-10. Well, in terms of the market anyway, and that's Justin's other horse, She's My World, that Andrew Fortune's there to ride, priced up as previously stated 33-10. It's 11-1 and better about the balance. Is there one, or are there going to be more?
I think there's 4 that have caught the eye.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's start with the current favourite, Ukaduma. Now, Clyde, I mean, she's bred in the purple. We recall her dam, Thunder Dance. She won the Empress Club and the Paddock Stakes. Multiple Group 1 winner. There wasn't any support for her in debut, though. I mean, she drifted in the market. She wasn't taking on strong field whatsoever. So one would have expected her to find the support if she was tearing up the tracks back at home. In saying that, she could be anything now that she's been stepped up to trip. I mean, her dam did over 1,800, so she undoubtedly is going to appreciate the extra. Just behind her in debut was Lowveld Lily, who made marked improvement in her second start and was never in doubt on that occasion. The other 2 I've included over here. Number 2, She's My World. Just put a line through her last start. That race really wasn't run to suit. They crawled up front and they sprinted, and she found interference. In saying that, Richard Fourie rode her when winning in her penultimate start and rode her last time out. And surely he had the choice of rides over here, and he's opted to ride number 7, Lowveld Lily. So for that reason, maybe there are stamina doubts in her camp, because perhaps Richard believes Lowveld Lily is more certain to stay the extra. One who I believe will love the extra is number 3, Electromagnetism. She switches off beautifully in her races. She hasn't taken on anywhere near the quality of fillies that she takes on today. However, Clyde, she relaxes in her races. She's got a lovely turn of foot, and I really believe she's doing things in the right manner. So Aldo will get her to relax, and she's got a possibility of picking them off in the straight.
Right.
Opening leg of the second bipot, I've got numbers 3 and 6. That surely will suffice.
Yeah, okay. Well, there are 2 bipots, as Daryl's just mentioned. To get this bipot on, Ukaduma, the 2.6 million rand purchase, she's run 1-1-1-1. Will she continue to do so? And the other one that Daryl's put in there, number 3, Electromagnetism. Okay, it's Langeman time now. That means the juvenile's a Colts virgin, and it's over 1,500 meters. This particular event from Friday morning's perspective, we can tell you that number 2, Dream World, topped the boards at 5-2. 7, Randolph Hearst, the second choice, at 3-1. Number 5, Happy Verse is in there at 33-10. 7-2 about number 6, Roland Garros. Number 4, Absolutely Yes, is at 5-1. And then double figures about the balance. All right, Daryl. Let's talk about the favourite. He's run 3 times. He's won 2 of the 3 already. Just how good is he?
Who's that?
Dream World.
Oh, is he top of the boards?
Yeah, he's top of the boards. He shouldn't he be?
You know, he's got such a huge reputation, this horse, and they tried different tactics last time out. They let him stride, and he got it right.
He's done nothing wrong so far,
Absolutely nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Stepping up to the 1500. Just in that race, Clyde, I think it was the Winter Nursery. The horse he beat, Absolutely Yes, was returning from a layoff, having his first run as a gelding. And if you watch that race clearly or carefully, Absolutely Yes was finishing better. And now Absolutely Yes has had another run, and he won a race that really wasn't run to suit. And he's bred for the extra. He's crying out for the extra. I think his dam won the Fillies Guineas. She placed in the Garden Province. His sire stayed. So I've got a slight preference for number 4, Absolutely Yes, and I think he's got a chance of reversing the form with Dream World. In saying that Dream World can certainly confirm that form, I would certainly not be surprised whatsoever. Happy Verse, he has a horse that's hasn't put a hoof wrong, 2 from 2. He won against Older Company last time out, never in doubt. I just think in this sort of lineup, he might be caught flat-footed, but another one who really could remain unbeaten. Number 7, Randolph Hearst. This horse is rumoured to be Justin Snaith's best juvenile, and he got beaten by the stable companion last time. Roland Garros fended him off in the straight, but you need to watch that race carefully. Roland Garros got the run of the race up front, unchallenged, and Randolph Hearst was towards the back of the field, got there, but just couldn't get his head down in time. I'm fairly convinced that he's going to reverse that form and set the record straight. So I've excluded Roland Garros this time round. And you need to take note, JP van der Merwe, who rode Absolutely Yes and who would have had the choice of rides, switches or confirms the ride on Randolph Hearst. So I'm going into this race in order, 4 from 7. If you want to go wider, I don't believe we can afford to go wider in a double, because we're not really going to show a profit then. In order, it would be 7, 4, 2 and 5.
7-4 or 4-7? Which is your first
7,
choice?
7-4.
Are you going with Randolph?
I'm going with JP, Clyde.
JP, okay. Okay, on to race number 8. It's a class 4 over 1,600 meters. And Friday morning, this is what was going on in the betting. 5-2, number 6, Kamkacha. Number 2, Lady Lookalike, the second choice at 28-10. 28-10, about 5, Miraculous. Number 1, Pentalina is the fourth choice in the market, priced up at 7-1 and 8-1 about number 8, From a Distance. It's 10-1 and better about the balance. So from a market perspective, there are quite a few, and I guess on form too, Daryl, there are quite a few that can win in this particular event. Where are you?
Yeah,
Which
there's
one?
a few I don't like, to be honest.
Okay, tell us.
I'm strong in the camp of Kamchatka.
Okay.
I've always rated this filly, and I think she benefited hugely from the short time she had off the track. I loved her return, first run after a rest.
Yeah.
She took on a filly that's a galloper, and that filly had the 4 kgs off her back. She got to her, and then the allowance kicked in, Clyde. She gave her as much as 7 kilograms over a distance short of her best. Now she's going to strip fit her. She goes the extra. She steps back up to a mile, and she gets the 2.5 kgs off her back. So one thing's for certain, she stays. And she's a lovely filly who's going in the right direction. So nearly a banker for me.
Okay.
Then you can see Louis obviously chosen to ride, I don't know. I'm assuming he's chosen to ride Miraculous over number 2, Lady Lookalike, who he's ridden to victory and a second in his last 2 starts. But he's aboard number 5, Miraculous over here. This filly, you know, since day dot, she's come to the track, and all we've heard about her is being a decent filly. She's let the side down on numerous occasions in the past, but take note, they're trying her in a mile for the first time.
Yeah.
I had a look. Her dam won over 1400, Clyde. She's gone over 1400 in the past, but she has travelled a bit too hard. Maybe that was because it was her first run after rest and she was above herself. But here's a filly, if she settles and she sees out the trip, she could be worth taking note of. And she's going to be my second choice. But I still have my reservations over a mile. I would have been more bullish if it happened to be a 1400. Kamchatka, if she gets it easy up front, I expect her to win. So 6 from 5 for me.
Okay, that's the choice from Daryl. Kamchatka in the 8th race. One more class 4 to look at here before we wrap up a Weighted to Win preview. This is a Fillies and Mares 1200 metres, race number 9 on the card. And Friday morning, this is what we had a look at. Ricky Tiki Tavi is top of the boards at 7-2. 7-2 the field. 4 Oktoberfest is 9-2 second choice. 2 Maritzburg Memory is priced up at 6-1. 7-1 about number 5 American Ultra. And you can get 8-1 and better about the balance. Perhaps a tricky race, but the favourite is one of, I guess, your stable, Andre Nel.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what's happening with this filly. Listen, on paper, 4th and 1st from 2 starts, it's hard to knock her. But on debut, she drifted off the boards to 33-1. Last time out, 5-1 to 14-1. I'm not sure if she's keeping her best for the track itself, but just looking at the market, it doesn't appear as if she's showing much back at home. Yes, the form line has been franked with Claire de Lune coming to win from there, and maybe just earlier the filly Taylor's version has also franked the form because she finished 5 odd lengths behind Ricky Tikitavi last time out. Yeah, I mean, she could build on what she's shown today, Clyde. I just believe this filly, number 2, Maritzburg Memory, is one to follow in this sort of lineup. I loved her return in her penultimate start when she was probably in need of that. Sean Veal gave her a chance. She likes to be covered up in the early stages, and she rattled through them extremely convincingly. And I actually gave her a chance in her next start, her second run after layoff. And she blew her chances. She broke through the pens, and despite that, she was far from disgraced. So let's hope she behaves herself and gets a clean break and can set the record straight, because I think she can dispose of a field of this nature. If you like her chances, you have to take number 4's
October.
Yeah, you have to take her seriously because on paper she's slightly better off the weights. But in saying that, Maritzburg Memory was returning from a layoff on that occasion, so I still got a preference for her. So in order 2, 3, 4. However, it is a tricky race.
All right, but you got straight up 100 on Maritzburg Memory, straight up win. Currently priced up at 6-1. Hope that all helps.